I was born and raised in Lagos City, and my family was quite well off. But I still had to do chores. This is why sometimes people try and help me iron my clothes. I'm like, no, I got it. Because my dad would be like, Bolaji, come on, iron my shirt. Like, for work. I did the dishes, I swept the compounds, clean up the kennel, the dog kennel. So just because my parents were rich doesn't mean I didn't have to work. I had to earn my keep. Yeah, I learned hard work from them as well. Even moving to New Zealand, when my mom became a nurse, or she was in nursing school, my dad would let her sleep in her cleaning job. Me and him will go to the bank and clean around 4 a.m. This is in Rotorua, the town I was talking about, around 4 a.m. Go and help her clean just so she can get enough sleep to go to school the next day. My dad's the best. My dad is a real G, And I've said this before, look, rest in peace to Khabib's dad. He was in his corner and fighting. Michael Jordan has his dad on the court. So is Steph Curry, a lot of other dads as well in football. But my dad helps me off the court. And I've said this again, and I'll say it again and again. The UFC knows what I got paid or what I get paid, but they don't know what I'm worth. And that's thanks to my dad. Because my dad is a chartered accountant by trade. And he just knew how to flip my money for me. Because I came back with 6 figures or 5 figures, high 5 figures. Wow. And then he tried to help me invest it. And I was like, I don't want to have a house. He has too much responsibility because I was young and dumb. And I went broke again. So as soon as I got in the UFC, I was like, right, what do I do? First thing we did, buy my first house. Yeah. And then now it's going crazy. But again, that's thanks to my dad. But who else would you rather have in your corner than has the best interest? If without him, I would have been ripped off so many times, man. Yeah. Because people, it's just in their nature. They take advantage. They see like, oh, this guy's not really paying attention. Oh, he just signed that contract. He didn't even shit. So I don't sign shit without my pops looking at it and then giving me the green light. Like, yeah, it's cool.
Like I said in the first fight, it went on too long. You don't get paid by the round, so you got to get in there and get out quickly.
Tell us about the 3 fights. I mean, has this been just one of those special nights for you?
Definitely. Hey, what did I say? Told you so.
This is not a stop, Zealand.
It's a very different perspective for me. Living in Portland, in Oregon, in America. We don't do a lot of kickboxing. You could really search it out, but if you were an avid kickboxer, if you found that's a niche sport, so now you find somebody who you're gonna find to compete with. If you find somebody to compete with, who's going to host it? Who's gonna come and watch it? How does this business move forward? Just a tricky one, but other parts of the world, it's not necessarily that complicated. We all hear the stories about Thailand. You could go out on a Tuesday night to a local bar, they're gonna bring you Thai fights. And someone else will do it on Wednesday and Thursday, Friday. We hear those stories, but we don't have that here. With any kind of combat sport. We don't have wrestling on a yearly basis every day. We don't have judo, we don't have karate, we don't have amateur boxing. I'll just share with you, Izzy was able to find 80 kickboxing matches. What a circuit. What a contact he must have, but what a unique experience. And I'm reading that, go, okay, but what does that take out of you? At what point are you learning and you're growing and getting better? And at what point does it begin to take out of you? And of all those matches that Izzy had, I get you close to 111 guys, he lost 7 of them. 7 times. I imagine that Izzy started this as a boy. I imagine he started it as a child. 7 times ever? I have had months where I dropped 7 competitions. Many people have. At some point in our life, everything's going wrong and you're doing a whole bunch of matches and they're every single Saturday. And on Thursdays, for part of your life, you'll also have a dual meet. 2 different competitions. 7 matches in his entire life, man, that's insane. That must be the best way to train. That must be, if I have an aspiring athlete, somebody comes to me, what's the best thing I can do to their son? Get him 80 kickboxing fights, get him 10 boxing matches, bring him over to MMA. But what about grappling? That seems important. No, throw it out. Don't do any grappling at all. You work at that in the practice room somewhere. It'll be enough. That'd be the worst advice I could ever give. That is terrible. That is ridiculous. I can't even believe that we've got empirical evidence that worked. That is interesting. Why? Why did that work and how? Brian Stan, who's as tough of a guy as you're ever going to come across, not just physically, but mentally. He understands what it takes. And Brian Stann maintains that in an MMA situation, you cannot cardiovascularly keep up with somebody that comes in wrestling heavy, that is wrestling experienced, no matter how hard you train. Brian goes further to explain that it takes a lifetime to build the lactic acid. It will not come through in a training camp, or even if you get a wild hair in your 20s. If that person comes heavy in wrestling and they're experienced, the fatigue and you better find another way to beat them. That's what Brian Stann maintains. Now, he's right. If he hasn't done a lifetime of it, no matter how prepared, skilled he is, he can't do this. And that's a very real thing in life. I had a run. I despise running. You guys can relate to me. I despise running. And I had a run that I did, and it required so damn much mental toughness just to put the shoes on and get out the door, because I didn't like running that much. But it was 1.6 miles. That's not a big ask of anybody, let alone a professional athlete. That's not a big ask. In many gyms, that's called your warm-up. In other gyms, that's called your cool-down. This is all in. This is all that I'm going to do. Now, there is a trick to it, which is I'm going to go pretty hard. I'm going to push myself. But moreover, I did it into a mountain. The city that I live in of West Lynn is a city built into a mountain. It's a wonderful place to go outside and get your own exercise, because you're going to have flat areas, and then you're going to have a little bit of a graded area, and then you're going to have to come back up a hill. But as soon as you get up there, you're going to come back to a flat area, back down a little bit, back up a hill. Great place to go run, but I had these built-in things, and I would run the whole thing until I got to the incline. That's where I would push. And it was hard. 20 and 30-second spurts, that was it. A little bit of a recovery time. 20 and 30-second spurts. I did this run, and the run took me about 11 and a half to 12 minutes, but I did this run with a friend, and the friend was just in town for the night who did marathons. She competed and did marathons, half marathons, full marathons, 10K, 5K, right? Excellent shape. But wasn't used to running the hill. Said she was exhausted. Said that was way harder than doing a marathon. Now it's 11 and a half minutes. 11 and a half minutes of running. How could 11 and a half minutes of running be more difficult than 2 hours and 40 minutes of running? How? Well, different fatigue. It's a different conditioning when you go into an exercise that you're not used to. So Israel Adesanya, in my final analysis, is proving to us, right? This has never been done. Got an amateur bet. We've seen guys come over for football. We've seen guys come over from damn near everything at some point. But to purely be MMA, absolutely no grappling, no competitions that we've ever seen anywhere. No wrestling matches, no jiu-jitsu, no sambo, none. So that's all done in the practice room.
You know how to get a crowd on your side too. People love knockouts. It's tough though.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, it's a hard job, you know? It's not easy. A lot of struggles happen, you know, coming up to this fight, you know? But here we are. All about mindset. Believe in whatever you want to do, you can do it. I promise.
How good would you be at something if you were never going to show it to the world? If mom and dad were never going to come down and watch you, how good would you get at something? How could you? What would your motivation be? Why would you work so hard? He did it, and he did it in the practice room. And as I study those numbers, it also makes me reflect on Adesanya's fights, which is not the principle that Randy Couture won a world title with.
Afrobeats has taken over the globe with our sound. I think we created Afrobeats, and that's mainstream now. Dances that we do, the way that we dress, but again, I love my people, I love my culture. It's just the government, like the greedy motherfuckers, the old ancient dudes that are still running the country. It happens worldwide, but it happens really bad in Nigeria, and then they're just kind of selling the country to different entities and whatnot. But in time, the young generation, the guys now who have grown up with the internet, they're the ones who are seeing the bullshit and I guess changing it, yeah.
Refocus on this card. Anderson Silva is taking on Adesanya. Anderson got a shot.
I mean, Anderson always has a shot, but I mean, to fight, you know, the younger version of yourself, someone who's just such a tactical striker, who's elusive with a 3-inch reach advantage, you know, I think it's amazing. It takes courage for Anderson to step up and do that. You know, Anderson's done so much. You could pick an easier fight than this, you know.
Sure.
So for him to step in there and do that, I think his advantages is he may be a better boxer. You know, he may need to close that distance and try to, you know, get those in the pocket exchanges. He has that good head movement and keeps his hands tight while he's in the pocket.
When you say about you love sharks, is that one of the most motivating parts of this trip, or maybe is Red Adesanya in there somewhere as well?
You know, that's the more important for me, because I try to swim to the sharks.
I'm a creative person, and I feel like it's just how you express yourself. This game of life, it's a dangerous game of life.
I'd watch all those Cage Warriors fight.
Yeah.
When he was standing in front of Jorge Rivera and letting him punch him in the face.
He's just rolling with
Just
it, man.
rolling with it.
He did it
Standing
to
in
me
front
as
of
well.
him.
People don't understand this. Anderson is playing the game where me and him are playing this game. So when I hit him, I didn't hit him clean. I'm not trying to hit him where he is. I'm trying to hit him where he's gonna be. But then he knows that as well. So he'd anticipate that and then pause. The distance is just right, so it just nicks him. And we're playing this game, but like literally, I was trying to hit him where he's gonna be. But then he'd pause, and then the punch would just, like we're playing this game, and people don't understand. People who've never fought, they don't understand that game you're playing. Yeah, it was beautiful, man. I love that fight.
Left, on your left. Left, yeah.
Pull shots. That's really nice to eat. There you go.
I know this way.
Whoa.
Wow, thank you.
No worries.
Wow. Match kind of. Cheers. God bless you.
Since he takes all the burden of doing all this shit, so I don't have to deal with it.
Now, 50, you get a gold watch when you retire.
And I'm not
I can't say you're retiring.
It's a 3-house project. So the construction shouldn't be more than 12 months. I don't want someone that will do the foundation and then they go away for another 3 months before you see them, and then they come, they put up the frame and then they disappear because they are doing other projects. For as long as money is not the problem, we just want them to carry on, and so that by 12 months the house is ready.
You know, he's been able to market himself in a very good way where he captures a lot of attention. But I've been fighting this organization for 6 years, and man, I've seen these kinds of contenders come and go, man. A lot of hype train behind them, and a couple of years later, they're not with the organization anymore.
Have you guys already met before?
We met in the van on the ride here.
And was there a comment about
No,
his
lies.
nice
That's a lie. I met him at a buffet table, and you remember? Yeah.
Man, I'm ready to go tonight. You know what I mean? I'm ready to go tonight, man. It's responsible. I'm ready.
At the end of the day, we had a deal. We had a deal when we sat down and we shook on it.
What does that say right there?
Yeah, people are taking notes now. I mean, John Jones says he wants to fight 4 times this year as a champ. Last I heard, people were fighting like twice. So I'm keeping that same energy. I'm gonna stay active.
So after his last fight in Australia, he said, I'm going on vacation with my family. He paid for this 3-week vacation to go away with his family. We called him and said, do you want the fight? Left his vacation, left his family, went back
Lost
into
money,
camp.
but some things are more important than money.
How bad do you want to be a champion? Do you want to get the next title shot? The guys that are sitting at this table today, they want it. So that's why they're here.
The day that I won the Ultimate Fighter Season 17, 6 years from now, Dana, you'll be giving me the belt. No one handed me nothing, man. I earned this.
It's kind of cool just to be here and witness history, his history. So don't blink or you'll be history.
Stylebender, man, he seems to be getting better every time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for him, it was just about avoiding takedown. Like, he was so high level as a kickboxer. He's so clever. He's like, in my opinion, probably the very best in the sport at setting traps.
Yeah.
He'll like gauge you, see what you're doing, then he'll switch stances.
He's getting some information.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not random. And I like the way he deals with the takedowns. I mean, he knows where he's safe and where he's not. You don't see that he's panicking. He's like, yeah, it's got a minute. Let this cook a minute. But
yeah.
I seen what this attempt looks like. I see what this one looks like. I'm walking it through. All right, now my party's gonna start.
I found out who I was after that fifth round. I found out the depths I'm willing to go.
The Kelvin Gastelum Stylebender fight was a shootout.
I've got 25 minutes to look for a finish, and that's all I'm ready to do.
Robert Whittaker is something special.
I'm going to send the message that I'm going to be one of the best ever.
Introducing the Nigerian-born, New Zealand-raised interim UFC middleweight champion of the world, the last stylebender, Israel Adesanya. Here is the reigning, defending UFC 185-pound champion, Robert Whittaker.
Can you tell us physically, mentally, how are you heading into the biggest fight of your life?
6 fights in and I'm the champ. Yeah, I can't say for him. He's fought twice in the last maybe 3 years. I've been busy. So the last 4 months, took some time off. I relaxed, went on holiday.
It's unfortunate that I was only able to fight twice in the last 2 years. It's just one of those things. You know, I got sick and couldn't help that. But I'm looking forward to a very strong return.
I never call him sick whenever I show up. New York, I could have pulled out. My last fight, my knee got fucked up. I could have pulled out, but I never pulled out. I show up, I step up, and I show out.
Imagine if he is in a place about to walk out in front of 56,000 people. You've got the geographical rivalry, the nationalistic rivalry of New Zealand versus Australia. Once in a lifetime moment. Once in a lifetime will he ever walk out in front of 56,000 cheering and booing people. Imagine if he's telling us the truth. Imagine if he is sincere and he truly does not care about the championship. He is coming to beat up Robert Whittaker. First off, he's got a major leg up. That is a major step psychologically into the right direction. If you are able to penalize, slow everything down, and put it in that one perspective, that one lane, all the other things that are built into this fight that all of us are talking about and thinking and assuming he would be feeling, but he is only thinking about one thing, which is hurting that man. It's a major leg up. He's got the look. He's got the story. He's got the skills. He's unique, right? He's one of those. Roy Jones Jr. was unique. Anderson Silva was unique. Just by example, when you have somebody that comes out and does something, but they just look a little bit different doing it with some of the movements, some of the reach, right? All the greats have something. If you go look at them, they have something physically. Michael Phelps comes to mind. You ever watch Phelps go into a pool before the race starts, and he does that thing where he bends over and he moves his arms? You know, you guys have seen it. All the swimmers do that, but Phelps is no different. When you look at the biomechanics from a physiological standpoint of what is happening, you are seeing something unique and special. But the greats usually have something. All the greats have something different.